Writing novels pretty much broke my heart, but it was writing games that saved me. If you've ever felt like a failed writer, this video is for you because I have been there. I have felt the soul crushing burden of having my writing rejected over and over again. And this is a story of how I turned it around. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to become a full-time writer. I loved novels and I wrote from an early age. In my 20s, I started writing my own manuscripts with the dream of being a published novelist. I took a postgraduate course in creative writing. I scrolled down drafts on reporters' pads on the bus to work. I sent my early novels around and got one rejection from an agent. And that one rejection meant that I stopped sending my books out for 10 years. I took it really personally. In 2015, I started writing novels again, and that novel got longlisted for the debut dagger in the UK, alongside nabbing me an agent in the US. Being the naive little writer I was at the time, I thought publication was the simple next step. My book would get picked up and I'd be a novelist. Easy. I was so wrong. Getting an agent is great, but the publishing industry is so hard to crack. And this video certainly isn't a criticism of my agents who really wanted to sell my books too. But the book didn't get picked up. I'd put my heart and soul into it and it felt like nobody wanted it. I know that publishing isn't personal, but it's hard not to take these things personally when you've spent years on a project. And then I wrote another book, which again didn't get picked up. Writing a novel on top of a day job takes years of work. You probably know this, and at this point in time, I was so burnt out. I felt like I'd wasted 5 years of my life. I hated novels at this point. I resisted reading, and this was the one thing I had loved since I was a kid. Then the pandemic happened. Being in the world's longest lockdown finally gave me the time to do some of the writing projects I'd always wanted to do. I have always loved games. I've been playing them since I was a toddler, but I found the chance to make my first tabletop RPG with Storytelling Collective's Write Your First Adventure course. I had a gap in my writing schedule and I thought, stuff it. I have always wanted to write a game, and so I did. The challenge was to write a Call of Cthulhu one-shot over the space of a month. I brought all the skills I had learned from writing novels to writing games. At first it was hard shifting gears from prose writing to TTRPGs, which are a combination of literary style and a technical document. You want to write a beautiful game, but you also need to make it easy for the game master to run the game. I was used to having a near unlimited word count, but in games, I had to really make every word count. Instead of writing in a character's voice, I saved those voices for handouts in order to convey personality to the player and to communicate the essential clues for solving a mystery. Instead of writing a lyrical description of a building, I wrote a tight paragraph for the GM to read to the players, making every word I included do heavy lifting. And I also studied how other games were written to make sure I was writing in the house style for Call of Cthulhu. That game became the Hammersmith Haunting, a gaslight adventure for Call of Cthulhu. I released it in the expectation it would sell a few copies and maybe my mum would buy one. 4 years later, it sold well over 1,000 copies. After the success of that game, it kind of seemed like I was onto something. But it wasn't just about sales for me. Like, hearing that people were playing my game around the world, it gave me this burst of immediate confidence in my writing. I had been longing for people to engage with my writing for years, and now they actually were. I wanted to build on the success of that first game, so I wrote The Well of All Fear, a scenario for Regency Cthulhu. I wanted to do it as a portfolio piece to show I was capable of writing something longer. It was double the size of the Hammersmith Haunting, and it took about 5 months to write. That game ended up winning a Silver Emmy Award for Best Community Content and was nominated against a list of professional productions for Best Adventure short form. And I mean like super professional productions. I'm here by myself making these games, and these guys are like producing hardcovers with professional illustrations. The Ennies are some of the highest prizes in the world for tabletop role-playing games, and here I had won one for my second game. When I started out writing games, I never expected that kind of success. I did it because I loved games. Since those first publications, I've published another game, Resort, which won Best Scenario at the Australian Role-Playing Industry Awards. I spent years writing novels, facing disappointment after disappointment, but it wasn't until I switched to game writing that I healed as a creative. I still believe that no writing is ever wasted. Those years I spent writing novels really helped me hone my craft and my capacity to produce work. But it's games that saved me from myself. For years I thought that I'd failed in my writing dreams. But at the end of last year, I finally quit my job to become a full-time writer. And that's because of games. You might be in the same place I was. You might be feeling like you are a failure, and you are absolutely not. You're just on a journey to find where you fit and where you're meant to be. There's a myth that if you haven't made it when you're young, you're not going to make it. But most writers get published in their middle-aged when they've got experience under their belt. If you're struggling with writing a novel, why not try something different? A game, a comic book, a script. It might open up your creative process. Writing tabletop role-playing games has made me a better, more holistic writer, and I'm not ruling out a return to novel writing. But having game writing projects on the go has brought an immediate satisfaction to me that novel writing never did. I've learned it's much better to have a mix of projects, some shorter, some longer, to keep you motivated as a writer. I now feel more confident in my work and happier than I've ever been because of game writing. Now I'm freelancing for Chaosium and other clients, and I'm working on some really exciting game projects of my own. I'm still trying to sell a novel, but it is not at the expense of my happiness or my own vision of success. So I'm really curious, have you ever thought about writing games? Let me know in the comments below, and do stay tuned on my channel for more videos about my game writing journey.